Hello, everybody. Welcome to my first ever live stream. Looks like we have two people viewing at the moment, but that is okay. This video will go up, or this live stream will go up after the stream is over. So, welcome. I am new to this. There is a chance that this might get messed up at some point, but we will roll with it. So, thank you everyone who is currently on watching. But today we'll be going over free agency and the moves that will be made as we are here, and talking about ones that have been made in the past. So I'm a massive Patriots fan. So if you cannot see already, I have the Patriots forum open on Reddit, as well as the National Football League forum open on Reddit. So it's not as good as Twitter, but these guys go crazy when it comes to tweets coming out from the top guys, whether it's Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, Patriots-wise Mike Reese. Those guys, they tweet it out, and there are people who just post it on here. So it works out. So the one Patriots move that happened today so far is the Hunter Henry signing by the Patriots. So Hunter Henry was signed to a 3-year contract worth about $37 million. With how it turns out is that some of it is guaranteed about $25 million. So as you can see on the screen right now, Jeff Howe compared the two different contracts between Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. So Jonnu Smith's contract was a 4-year, $50 million contract with $31.25 million of it guaranteed. Hunter Henry's was a 3-year, $37.5 million with $25 million guaranteed. Both of the guarantees make up a little more than 60% of the contract, so it does still work out well for the Patriots. They have two starting tight ends now, and what I think Bill Belichick is trying to do with that move is that he wants to go back to two tights. So people here have been memeing all day. But the idea is that the Patriots will go back to a similar system that they had when the Patriots had Rob Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez. Hopefully this time one of them isn't a murderer and we lose out on that. So this move, I think, helps out the Patriots' offensive lot. This, mixed with all the moves that have happened in the last few days, I think are going to bolster up the Patriots' offense very well. Even if Cam Newton is the quarterback, I was not very high on Cam Newton as a quarterback last year. But I do think with the offense that they have surrounded him, I think the one piece left on offense they need is that the Patriots need to re-sign David Andrews. David Andrews right now is being sought out by both the Patriots and the Dolphins, trying to see what he can get in a deal. So we'll scroll through the NFL page here in a bit, going over some of the moves that have made so far, updating by the minute. But with how the offensive line is formed right now, you've got Isaiah Wynn at left tackle, who makes for when he's the weakest of the offensive linemen currently if David Andrews is re-signed, and that's only because he's more injury prone than the rest of them. Then you've got Michael Onwenu, who will most likely play left guard, came in as a 6th-round pick out of Michigan last year, was an all-star, was the second best offensive lineman rookie other than Tristan Wirfs from the Buccaneers. Both of them definitely deserve those high honors. If the Patriots re-sign David Andrews, he'll play center. He is a top 10 center and should come back to the Patriots. He deserves to have his whole playing career done with the Patriots. Right guard Shaq Mason, who his his play dropped off a little bit last year, but he still is a well above average guard. And now at right tackle they'll have Trent Brown, who had his best year with the Patriots in his 1 year that he was here. Got signed by the Raiders, was not very good there. He was showing up to camp overweight, was dealing with injuries. Raiders trade him back to us for a limited cost. So that offensive line looks to be very good right now. Then you flip to the more skill position part. You still have Cam Newton at quarterback, but boy, with what they've surrounded Cam Newton with, I don't think it's going to be very much of an issue for the Patriots, whoever's playing quarterback this season. So sticking just with running backs, you've got Sony Michel and Damian Harris who make a 1-2 punch right now, and the Patriots are still reportedly pursuing running backs. Both Leonard Fournette and Chris Carson I've both seen being pursued here from tweets from other people. So with that being said, with the 1-2 punch, James White looks to be leaving in free agency. There have been a bunch of teams that have been pursuing him. Rex Burkhead most likely won't be re-signed, so that leaves Michel, Harris, and J.J. Taylor as the 3 running backs on the roster, as well as Brandon Bolden, who is coming back from opting out of the season. He's still on the team as well. So the Patriots actually have 4 running backs currently on the roster. And then you start to go outside, right? So the big thing coming into camp was the Patriots needed to add wide receivers, and they did that. So Julian Edelman is a question mark with his knee injury. It is not known whether he will come back or not. And then you'll have Jakobi Meyers, who came on very well last year. In limited starts, he came on with over 700 yards, only 1 touchdown, had the beautiful touchdown pass. I mean, you can't really get much better than that. Beautiful play. I think Myers can make to be a good wide receiver too if he's developed. And then the Patriots signed Nelson Agholor to a 2-year, $26 million contract with $11 million in salary each year, with a little bit of incentive there, and a 3-year, $22 million contract to wide receiver Kendrick Bourne. So Agholor was drafted by the Eagles, was known for being a drop crazy over there, signs a 1-year deal with the Raiders in the offseason, blows out of the water as a deep ball catcher, went on those goes all the time. He pretty much took what Henry Ruggs was supposed to be for the Raiders. But in that aspect, he still did well for the Raiders, and that led him to securing this 2-year contract for the Patriots. So I think the 2-year contract does work out well for both parties. If Nelson Agholor does well, then he can go out, get more money for what will likely be his last contract as a wide receiver, considering his age. And if he's not that good, the Patriots, they can just let him go after 2 years and continue with the talent they have. Kendrick Bourne more on a 3-year deal because he's more of he needs a little bit more development. He did very well in a rotational role for the 49ers, which is why they brought him in to be a Patriot. I am looking forward to see how that goes. And then the biggest news of free agency for the Patriots so far was the move that made Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith both tight ends for the New England Patriots. So what that did was that just gave the Patriots the opportunity to go back to a 2 tight end set. I am so excited to see that. The Patriots are not a team that you would expect to bust out all these different productive receivers, but I think that is the opportunity to happen here. So, for example, like if you're in a fantasy draft, right? Fantasy football, you're looking to draft these players, it will be very difficult to figure out what Patriots to and not to take this year. For the sole reason that I cannot guarantee which receiver for the Patriots right now is a wide receiver 1. It looks like they have a bunch of wide receiver 2s and 3s, between Agholor, Myers, and Edelman being solid wide receiver 2s. Kendrick Bourne, N'Keal Harry, Gunnar Olszewski can be wide receiver 3s, and they have Marquise Lee still on the roster. And then you throw on the tight ends, Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith on top of that. I feel like that will be more of a rotational position. So if they go single tight end sets, they'll rotate between who's the starter. I don't think either one of them is played more over the other, unless one starts to drop off in production or if Hunter Henry gets hurt, which is a likely possibility. Now, flipping to the defensive side of the Patriots moves that happened yesterday, the Patriots signed 3 different defensive linemen. The first move was that they signed Davon Godchaux from the Miami Dolphins for a 2-year, $16 million contract. And then on top of that, the Patriots also signed defensive lineman Henry Anderson from the Jets on a 2-year, $11 million contract. And they brought back defensive end Dietrich Wise on a 4-year, $30 million contract. Most of these contracts are very incentive-laden. So Godshaw's contract, I remember, is $9 million guaranteed. But Henry Anderson and Dietrich Wise, those look like scary contracts at the start. But at the same time, they're very incentive-laden. not too much to worry about in terms of that. Looking at the linebackers, the Patriots signed Matt Judon, edge rusher from the Ravens, has over 32 sacks in his career, coming on as a top pass rusher in the league. And the Patriots get him on a 4-year, $56 million contract, averaging $16 million a year. And then in the defensive third of the field, in the secondary, the Patriots signed Jalen Mills to a 4-year, $24 million contract, again with a lot of incentives. What the Patriots did was they essentially are making guys bet on themselves. They're making it so that if you want to earn your money, you're going to have to play for it. And I totally agree with that thought process, and I think it'll help the Patriots out in the future. If I were to just assume with the Patriots right now, I would say they are a playoff team with just these moves made. They bolstered the offense a lot better, and they gave the defensive front seven a bit of a revamp, getting more defensive linemen, as well as getting in a top-tier edge rusher in there. So I would say they're a playoff team, but I don't necessarily think they're going to go beat the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl just yet. So that's my take on the Patriots moves so far. We'll take a look, see if there have been any Patriots updates as of right now. There have not been, but can enjoy some Vince Wilfork hits on some players. Vince Wilfork, what a guy. Wish we still had him. We would not have to deal with as many run-stopping issues as we have had to so far. So, with that being said, we can flip over to the whole league side, see what's been going on in the rest of the NFL. So, Tom Pelissero reports that with Shaquill Griffin off the board to Jacksonville, the cornerback market should get moving, with William Jackson, Patrick Peterson, Richard Sherman, Troy Hill, Kevin King, and Quan Williams among the best available unrestricted free agents. So Shaquill Griffin signed a 3-year contract with the Seahawks. I saw that earlier. If we scroll down a bit, we'll be able to see how much money that is. We'll get to that in a bit. The Saints are one of the teams that have been reported to be going after Richard Sherman. Makes sense to me. His old defensive backs coach is there, as the tweet below reports, but I do think this is a good move for the Saints. It'll bolster their secondary, which is in desperate need of help, and I do think that can help out a lot, as it'll be a good upgrade from Janoris Jenkins. Don't worry, Mobile God and Lawrence, you guys are not late. Only a few minutes. Didn't miss a whole lot. Thank you for being here. We currently have 5 viewers in the chat. 1 like. If you're in the chat right now, please leave a like. It would help a lot. Thank you so much for being here. Hopefully this isn't going too horribly. About 14 minutes in. We'll keep it up. 1 like just came in. Thank you so much for whoever did that. Alright, just going down to the next one. The Eagles are not in a rush to trade Zach Ertz, according to NBC Sports Edge Football. This sucks for Zach Ertz because Zach Ertz really wants to move up, as he wants to be out of the Eagles. He doesn't want to be there. They're not doing very well for him, and he wants to go play somewhere else, and they're not giving him that opportunity. There's clearly an issue there. So with the Eagles, quote, not being in a rush to trade Zach Ertz, I don't think that's a good move for them. I think with the tight end market the way it is, with Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith both off the board, teams should be interested. And I think the Eagles are going to be in need of releasing some cap space, and they can do that by getting rid of Zach Ertz. So I don't necessarily agree with that idea of not being in a rush by Howie Roseman. Per Adam Schefter, a 4-year deal contract for the new Bengals slot cornerback Mike Hilton. So Mike Hilton, corner for the Cincinnati Bengals, locks in a 4-year contract. This sucks for Steelers fans. Mike Hilton was a very good corner for the Steelers. Every time I watched the Steelers game, he was easily the best corner for them. That's a shame for them to lose him. 4-year deal. Seems like it'll be Mike Hilton's last chance to make a lot of money, as corners start to die out once they hit their 30s. Mobile God question, who do you think will be the surprise team next year? Surprise, alright, so we'll go by conference. I think the Broncos or the Raiders might be a surprise team next year, considering depending on who they sign. I think the Chargers are going to do well too. The AFC West is going to be the division to watch because I think the Chiefs, they've lost, or their offensive line is a huge question right now. They got rid of Eric Fisher, Mitchell Schwartz, but they did bring in Joe Thuney, so I do think there's going to be a bunch of turnover there. But I do think that division just got a lot better. Justin Herbert is the real deal. They got him Corey Linsley at center yesterday, so that bolsters the offensive line. The Raiders are being smart this offseason, not giving a lot of money at the start. And the Broncos, their big question right now is if they want to roll with Drew Lock as the future. I do think they should give Drew Lock another year. Maybe get a veteran in there just in case, like an Andy Dalton type. See what if the veteran can push him to his max capabilities. But we'll see how that goes. So I'd say that my surprise team is going to come from the AFC West. Because the AFC South, I think they're not going to be a very good division this year. The Titans lost a lot of talent. They did bring in Bud Dupree, though. And the Texans, Jaguars are not going to be great, even if the Jaguars do bring in Trevor Lawrence. And the Colts are a big wild card with the Carson Wentz signing. In the NFC, if I had to pick a surprise team in the NFC, I think the Cowboys, if they can figure out their defensive situation, with Dak coming back, Dak was on pace to break records last year in 5 or 6 games before he got hurt. We'll see how much the injury affects him, but he'll have a whole camp to figure that out, and he just got paid. I don't necessarily think the Cowboys are going to be a Super Bowl team, but I do think they will be a competitor and come out in the top of that division, or possibly the Giants. The Giants are having a quiet offseason. They're pushing for Kenny Golladay right now over the Dolphins, so that's a battle right now to see who comes out of there. But I'd say either the Cowboys or the Giants will be a surprise playoff team next year. Thank you for the question. Diana Rossini reports that San Francisco in talks with Trent Williams. Nothing yet, but trust me, this is an all-hands-on-deck effort. So I did see a report earlier that the 49ers have an offer on the table for 4 years, $80 million. That's average $20 million a year. I think Trent Williams is worth that. Trent Williams has always been a very good left tackle for Washington, and he did do well in his time playing with the 49ers. And I think the 49ers need him, and if they let him go, that's going to be one of their prime needs going into the offseason here, solidifying that offensive line because they like to run the ball a lot, and it's hard to run the ball with fifth-string running backs, which Kyle Shanahan likes to do, especially against the Patriots when they absolutely destroyed them, with a very good offensive line. It's very difficult to do that without talent on that O-line, which is why the Patriots solidified the O-line and why I'm surprised David Andrews has not been re-signed yet. But we'll see how that goes for them. Trent Williams it's between San Francisco and the Chiefs right now to get him. So we will see how that goes for them. One more and then go back to Patriots side. The Las Vegas Raiders have cut Rodney Hudson. What this does is his dead cap number is $15 million, which means they will lose $2 million in projected cap space. I don't understand this move, and the tweet even says it, because Rodney Hudson has always been a very good center. He's been one of the most elite centers in the league. One of the few positives for the Raiders over the past decade, and they're cutting him for dead money. Listen, if he just got cut, then if the Patriots lose out on David Andrews, I'll take Rodney Hudson for a year. I think he's worth it. I think he had a little bit of a drop-off in stats last year in his protections, but he's still a viable center that I think can help out any team in the short term looking for a center. So we'll go back over to the Patriots side. If you have any more questions, feel free to fire away. Nothing new yet in the Patriots side. They did have a lot of moves happen yesterday, so I am not surprised that there's not much going on today. don't want to go crazy spending all money. So NFL Network put out a question: which team has been more impressive so far in free agency? So if I had to answer this right now, I would say the Buccaneers, honestly, that they've had a more impressive free agency because they were over the cap a lot and they were able to restructure a bunch of contracts so that they can bring back guys like Gronkowski, Shaq Barrett, Levante David, and they're still pushing to bring back guys like Leonard Fournette and Antonio Brown. So the fact that they were still able to finagle those, they did a lot of contract restructures with void years, and that kind of helped get them out of cap situations. Same thing with the Saints. But the way that they were able to do it, it helped save the money while keeping a lot of their roster intact. And that's why the Buccaneers will still be very competitive next year, and they're my Super Bowl favorite right now because Brady's a beast and they just surrounded him with talent. What I do think would be really crazy, though, obviously wouldn't happen, is if Tom Brady played with the Patriots' current offense. I think that would be amazing. He'd get a little worse in the receiver department, but he would still have two amazing top 10 tight ends as well as a better offensive line than he has in Tampa Bay. So it'd be fun to think about. But even with the Patriots, all the signings, I do think the Buccaneers have been more impressive with the finagling they've been able to do with trying to get under the cap. Jonathan Jones reports that the Browns are signing Takk McKinley, who's a linebacker drafted in the first round by the Falcons a few years ago, to a one-year deal that could reach more than $4 million. So that means it's incentive-laden, meaning he's going to have to play well for him to get his money. He bounced around a few times in the middle of the season last year because he was waived at around the halfway point, and then he bounced around a few teams due to failed physicals. And then he finally stuck with, I believe it was either the Raiders or the 49ers for a bit, and then they just decided to not re-sign him. So the Browns give him some money. I think it's a good move by the Browns. High upside. You already know what his floor is, and it's for cheap, and the Browns have the money to be able to do so. So I think it's a good move for the Browns. Get some depth. The only Raiders, with the release of Rodney Hudson, the only Raiders starter remaining from the pre-Gruden Mayock era is quarterback Derek Carr. There were some stream issues for a little bit, but stream is back. Mobile God, if you cannot hear me. I saw that happening for a few seconds, but looks like we are back. And yeah. Should be back streaming. Should not be an issue right now. Please let me know if there are any more issues. But continuing on, as long as nothing else is still messed up, Rodney Hudson is looks like the Cardinals will be going after Rodney Hudson, according to Ian Rappaport. Flip back over to the Patriots end for a bit. Still have Big Vince Wilfork over there. And that looks like that's still what's going on with the Patriots sub. Bit quiet over here on this end. Someone talking about the depth chart. If I had to go with my Patriots depth chart, I honestly don't think there's going to be a difference between Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. I think they'll both be more of a combination than more of a order. So I don't think either one of them is going to be the starter or the backup. So, but then with the wide receivers, if Edelman isn't playing, Edelman will be wide receiver 1 as long as he's playing. So if Edelman is not playing, I'd say Nelson Aguilar is wide receiver 1, Myers wide receiver 2, and Kendrick Bourne, wide receiver 3. So, in that aspect, I think that could help out the Patriots significantly with the idea that um, the Patriots, you know, it'll be hard to figure out what corner covers who, because they don't necessarily have the best. They don't have a true wide receiver one. So like, if you're playing the Cardinals, you know that you're going to throw your best corner on DeAndre Hopkins, right? But then say if you play the Giants, are you going to put your best corner on Sterling Shepard, or are you going to put it on Darius Slayton? If you play the 49ers, are you going to put your best corner on Brandon Ayuk or Deebo Samuel? Stuff like that. If the Patriots have consistent receivers, but they're going to mismatch it so that whoever the top corner isn't on will get the ball, I think that will help out the Patriots a lot in their favor. I feel like there's going to be a good amount of motions in the offense. Teams are going to have to throw multiple defensive backs on the field, especially when the Patriots go 2 tight ends, because you're not going to want to put a linebacker in coverage on Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. And then running back wise, I think Damien Harris will be more the starter for the Patriots, but Sony Michel did look well when he came back from injury. Definitely helped them out a lot. The Giants have given Leonard Williams a 3-year deal for $63 million with $45 million fully guaranteed, as reported by Ian Rappaport. So that gives Leonard Williams $21 million average a year. He's got what he wanted. He wanted over $20 million a year. They gave it to him. Leonard Williams played well after being sent to the Jets, or after being sent from the Jets to the Giants. He's played well for them. They franchise tagged him with the hope to get a deal done, and that is exactly what they did. And I think it's a good move for both ends. Gets Leonard Williams some money, and it keeps a good defensive lineman for the Giants. So we're going to take a few-minute break. We'll be back in a few moments. Thank you for those who are still watching. Be sure to leave a like if you haven't already. We're at 2 with 4 current stream viewers. Please help me out. Get some likes on there. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back in about a minute. We are back, everybody. Thank you for everybody who is still here. Hope you are ready to get right back into this. So, while we were away, Linda Kahn on Twitter posted, "Imagine if Belichick got these weapons on offense when Brady was still in New England. Maybe he wouldn't have left." That's my idea on the take, because this is just one of the worst takes that you could have. The Patriots cap space. They had no cap space when they had Brady, to the point where they had to sign Cam Newton to a veteran minimum contract. I don't think she understands that. Newton was on a vet minimum contract, and they couldn't sign anybody. The one receiver the Patriots signed in the offseason was Damiere Byrd. That's just a very bad take. Other than that, nothing new on the Patriots end of things. That's just a incredibly bad take. Patriots couldn't afford anybody. That's why they had nobody to go get. Checking back in on the NFL league-wide side of things, it looks like the Giants have agreed to terms with wide receiver John Ross on a 1-year, $2.5 million deal that includes $1 million in guarantees. The 9th overall pick in 2017 was the 4.22 40-time, gets a chance to reset his career in East Rutherford, reported by Mike Garafolo. That's not a horrible deal for the Giants. I like the move. John Ross got stuck behind a depth chart filled of wide receivers in Cincinnati, and he couldn't really get his career going due to injuries. So I think with this move, John Ross moves in as the wide receiver 3 on the roster, and I think it's more of a safety net if the Giants can't get Kenny Golladay, because they'll still have Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, and now they'll have John Ross, which I don't think is a terrible set of receivers. For Daniel Jones, definitely not the greatest, because, Daniel Jones is an inconsistent quarterback, and this is probably his last year to determine if he's going to be worth keeping or not. And if he doesn't have a DeAndre Hopkins or a Julio Jones or a Devontae Adams, Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, and now John Ross are his receivers. So this would be a good receiving core to give to someone like, say, Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, but I wouldn't say it's something that Daniel Jones would be able to work with. So the Giants really do need to get Kenny Golladay in there if they want to have a successful season on offense next year. Aditi Kinkabwala, I really botched that name, tweeted, "You know what rocks when a guy who works his tail off, genuinely cares about people, and makes everyone smile, gets paid. It's a 2-year, $9.5 million deal, including $3.25 million signing bonus for Steelers offensive tackle Zach Banner." Steelers need an offensive tackle after letting Matt Filer go yesterday. So, good move for the Steelers. Hopefully it works out for their offensive line, as they're going to need to be able to protect Ben Roethlisberger back there. Looking at more of the details on the Leonard Williams contract. Once Leonard Williams was tagged at $19 million per year, it became the new AAV floor with the Giants. Now he locks in a $22.5 million per year, tying Aaron Donald for fourth most among all defensemen. So, very expensive deal for the Giants, but it does help them out, and it helps them get work done. So, Zach Banner was the Steelers' starting right tackle last season, but he tore his ACL in Week 1 versus the Giants, so pretty much took him out for the season. So, not much you can really do there. $21 million a year, huge money for Leonard Williams. That is a lot of money. Hopefully he makes it worth it. So the Raiders grant Rodney Hudson's request to be released after agreement to void his $3.5 million guarantee for the season. So Rodney Hudson wanted to be released. This is reported by Mark Sanchez. Since when did Mark Sanchez become a reporter? I did not know that happened. But looks like it did. So he wanted to be released. So they released him for dead money. Huh. Wonder why Hudson wanted to be released. That doesn't make any sense to me. But hey, I'm not there. Moving on, Zach Klein. Per NFL League source, the Falcons have restructured Matt Ryan's contract. It was due $23 million, took $21 million, and made it guaranteed bonus that spreads out over the next 3 years. Cap is now $26.9 million. It was $40.9 million. So that creates $14 million in cap space for the Falcons. Good for them to work with, especially going into the draft later on. The Falcons don't have a ton of cap space, and they're going to need whatever they can get to work with here. So this will definitely help them out going forward. I wonder, so with the Falcons situation, I don't know what the Falcons are going to do in the draft. So my thing with the Falcons is they are in the number 4 spot currently in the draft, behind the Jaguars, Jets, and Dolphins. So everyone knows the Jaguars are going to take Trevor Lawrence at 1. Undisputed, unless it comes out that Trevor Lawrence is a rapist or a murderer. He's going to go number 1 to the Jags. Number 2 is where a lot of the questions start happening. It's going to come down to, do the Jets want to keep Sam Darnold, or do they want to reset? If they want to keep Darnold, they're probably going to trade back a little bit because they'll be able to get some money for someone who wants to trade up and get their quarterback of the future. If they are thinking about taking a quarterback, they're going to have 4 different options to be available there, which I think it will more likely be one of the two between Zach Wilson, quarterback out of BYU, or quarterback Justin Fields out of Ohio State. So some of the people that I talked to, so I've had discussions about this. I'm not very high on Justin Fields. Ohio State has not been the best outsource for quarterbacks recently. The last one being Dwayne Haskins, and Ohio State thought Dwayne Haskins was a better player than Joe Burrow. Now we see where the two stand. Before that, they had J.T. Barrett. J.T. Barrett did not do well in the NFL. Went undrafted, bounced around a few practice squads, currently out of the league. And the quarterback before that, Cardale Jones, did absolutely nothing in the NFL. Was backup for a few teams after that, diddly squat. So, not a good track record for Ohio State in terms of quarterbacks. If I'm looking for an edge rusher or a defensive end, yeah, I'll look at Ohio State. They just put out Chase Young and Nick Bosa. But quarterback is not where I'm looking at. If I'm looking at Ohio State, I'm not thinking quarterbacks. Justin Fields did well in a limited season. Like, he did good, especially in the playoffs. The playoffs were his best game, especially against the Clemson. Did really well in that game. But I don't know. I see some issues there for Justin Fields. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is the generational prospect that everyone believes him to be. I don't think he's the next Peyton Manning. He consistently got worse every year in college. So I don't think that helps him out either. Zach Wilson and Trey Lance, I think, have the best ceiling if they go to the right teams. I think Trey Lance could be like the next Josh Allen. I think Zach Wilson has a chance to be the next Mahomes. Either way, get them on a good team and they can perform well, develop. So, like, Trey Lance isn't going to develop on the Texans. Trey Lance isn't going to develop on the Jets. So that's stuff, for example. But I'd be willing to see Trey Lance go to, say, the Panthers or the Patriots, something like that. But really, I want the Patriots to draft quarterback out of Alabama, Mac Jones. Mac Jones looked very good in his first full year as a starter. Everyone was questioning how he would play, and he played great, boosting his stock from being more of a day 2 quarterback all the way up to being a possibility of a top 10 pick. That scares me because I want him, and the Patriots are currently sitting at 15th. So, back on the topic of the Falcons, if the Jets don't trade, if the Jets trade out, what are the Falcons going to do with the quarterback situation? So, they just restructured Matt Ryan's contract. They spread his bonus out through 3 years. Does that sounds to me like a move that they're going to keep him and that they don't plan on developing someone. So if they're spreading that over the next few years, I mean, it could lessen the cap hit each year if they were to cut him, but it would accelerate all the guarantees the first year, and that doesn't sound like a move that you would want to do if you're trying. Their roster isn't terrible. If you're going to do that with Matt Ryan, you might as well just get rid of Julio Jones at the same time and just restart from scratch. But I don't think that's what the Falcons are doing. I think they still think they can be competitive, which I don't necessarily believe in, but they do. They restructured his contract, and I don't think the Falcons should take a quarterback at 4. I actually think they should trade out a little bit, if possibly take the tight end out of Florida, Kyle Pitts, or make a move for a defender, whether it is Caleb Farley or Patrick Surtain at the cornerback spot, or if they go for a linebacker like, say, Micah Parsons, Jeremiah Owusu-Karamoah, or more for an edge rusher, whether it's Kwity Paye or Gregory Rousseau. So, I don't think getting a quarterback at 4 is in the best intentions of the Falcons. Check back in, see if there's any Patriots-driven news. So, Ryan Spagnoli reports no more quarterback at 4. If I'm the Patriots, I'm asking the price to get there. 15, 46, 22, 1, or 2. Just throwing stuff at the wall, but this would be a no-brainer if you're the Patriots. Great spot to package future capital now when they were 48 hours ago. So, someone jumped the gun on that pretty quickly. I don't think trading up to 4 is necessarily the best move. I wouldn't want to give up a 2022 first and second, or it says 2022 1 or 2. If it's a 2022 2, fine. Thank you, Mobile God. Loving the stream. Love to hear it. Glad it. Concurrent viewers. We are at 5 current viewers. 2 likes. Good for me. You know, doing well. My first time, I feel like. Again, be sure to show some love. Leave a like if you are enjoying right now. Would help tremendously. And would go a long way for me. But getting right back to what I was talking about. If it's a 2022 second round pick, I'd be okay with that. I don't necessarily agree with the idea of bringing a first round pick for that. I wouldn't want to get rid of a first round pick to move up to get another quarterback. We'll put it that way. YouTube just gave me an error message. You guys will receive some buffering. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. I apologize. I am not running on a GeForce RTX 3090. You know, I'm working with what I got here. Sorry for any buffering going on. Hopefully it fixes itself. So yeah, looks like it just fixes itself. Anyways, getting back to this. So if the Patriots trade up, I do think that it should be more for a more in like the Giants range of picks. So anywhere between the Lions and the Giants. I'm skeptical of what the 49ers are going to do in the draft. There's been a lot of talk about getting rid of Jimmy G with his cap hit. The 49ers are the only team that scares me. So when I do like mock drafts on my own, Don't worry, mock drafts will be coming on the channel soon. I just do them when I'm bored in school. I always have to trade ahead of the 49ers. The CPU always has it where the 49ers steal Mac Jones at 12. They usually have Lawrence going 1 to the Jags, Zach Wilson going 2 to the Jets, Justin Fields going 4 to the Falcons, Trey Lance going to either the Panthers or they've even had the Eagles. They've had the Eagles, Panthers, Broncos, and 49ers all take quarterbacks. And then there have been times where they have the 49ers steal Mac Jones at 12. Which all of those, other than the Eagles taking a quarterback, I do think could happen. So I think trading the earliest spot that they would need to trade up to, I would say, would be 7 if no other teams decide to trade up. So I remember it was last year, there was a lot of talk about teams trading up in the draft, and then very few didn't. So I'm curious if the same thing happens this year, if there's going to be a lot of speculation like, oh, the Dolphins want to trade out, or oh, the Jets want to trade out, and then no trades happen. So I do think the Patriots should trade up to secure a quarterback. I just don't know where, and it's going to depend on who else thinks they need to trade up to go get a quarterback. A tweet from Tim Jenkins on Twitter. Instant reaction after evaluating New England Cam Newton in 2020. It appeared Cam struggled with pressure ID from condensed sets. I would argue this stems from his time in Carolina operating in less condensed sets. Cam's front foot placement and firmness needs to be. Tweet was not finished. So Cam Newton, his footwork and his pocket awareness his pocket awareness was okay, definitely not Brady-esque, but his issue was he didn't know when to throw the ball away or when to scramble. There were a lot of times where he thought he could just scramble out of the pocket. He's not as fast as he used to be. And you can definitely tell that the injuries affected that on him for at least a little bit, but then he was able to progress, do much better as he went on. So I don't think, with the O-line being one of the best in the league, you can even see like the little tease at the bottom, Dear David Andrews. Many Patriots fans, I would trade a lot of the moves that happened this offseason. Not all of them packaged, but I would trade a bunch of individual ones. Except maybe the Jonnu Smith one, they definitely needed a tight end, to bring David Andrews back. David Andrews is so important for this offense. You can't have a good offensive line without having a star center, and that's what David Andrews is. He's a great center, great locker room guy for the Patriots, and I'll be jumping out of my seat right now if I get a thing that the Patriots re-signed him, and you can put money on that. So yeah, David Andrews. Do a quick refresh, see if there's any new Patriots news. Again, hope you guys are all liking the stream. We did hit 7 viewers at one point. That was pretty neat. Currently still sitting at no new news for the Patriots. Nothing going on. Oh, never mind. From Mike Tainer, the hashtag Patriots are paying top of market prices for players coming off their best seasons to play major roles. That's the opposite of how it's done. Today is a disaster for them. That's being reported as a triumph. Yeah, I think that's another bad take. Paying someone after their best season isn't necessarily a bad thing. Mobile God, my friend is a Chiefs fan, and he says that they would stomp the Patriots. Ooh, I had that debate today, or a small one, with a friend in school today. I'll get into that in a bit. Finish this tweet first. The Patriots did pay a bunch of players after their best seasons, but what they did was they gave a lot of incentive-laden deals. So the few contracts that they didn't do incentive-wise were Matt Judon, Jonnu Smith, and Hunter Henry. Those guys are all top-of-the-line players at their positions, and Davon Godchaux. Davon Godchaux didn't actually come off of his best season. He was injured for most of the season, but in 2019, he, according to PFF, He led the league in run stops from his nose tackle spot, which is exactly what the Patriots need. They don't need pass rusher in the middle. No, that's not a no. The Patriots, they did this right. The way they did the contracts. I'll even admit I was one of the many looking through forums skeptical about the amount of money they were paying people, but then I realized that with that being said, you can't just look at the first contract and think of that's how it's going to affect the cap. That's how much money they're going to make total. There's a lot of incentives. There's structures that spread the cap around. It doesn't necessarily mean that's how the money is going to work out. So, no, I think that's another bad take from people on Twitter, and I'm guessing that's what most Patriots fans will agree with. So, back on Mobile God's thing. Yeah, make your response funny so I can send it to him. Ooh. All right. So, in one corner, you have the Super Bowl losing team, Kansas City Chiefs, right? History-wise, the team that loses the Super Bowl doesn't necessarily do well the following year. The few times it did do okay, YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming, as such viewers will experience buffering. Hope you guys like some buffering. Apologies. But, back on comparing the Patriots versus the Chiefs. If you're looking at the tail of the tape, right? You've got, on one side, you've got the Chiefs who just lost the Super Bowl badly. Very badly. There's not really any other way to put it. It was just awful on all cylinders for the Chiefs. They got absolutely smoked, and the Buccaneers made sure they let them know. They've just lost multiple starting offensive linemen, including Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz. Yes, you stole Joe Thuney from the Patriots. Congratulations, you also just paid him a 5-year, $60 million contract to do it. You keep spending cap like it's nothing, thinking you can just push it all down the line. What happens in a few years when your team is trying to re-sign all of its rookies? You trade draft picks and lose out on them. The Frank Clark deal was awful. And then you still have to pay Tyreek Hill at some point. You don't have a definitive receiver after Tyreek Hill. Mecole Hardman was drafted just in case Tyreek Hill got suspended indefinitely for beating his child. Sammy Watkins has been inconsistent. That was a terrible deal they gave him a few years ago. And your offense is going to be in shambles. You've got Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Thuney. That's your offense. It's a lot worse than it looks. Mahomes is going to come to a point where they're just going to sack him over and over, and you're not going to be able to do anything. That offensive line is one of the most underrated things in the NFL right now, and that's exactly what the Patriots have, as long as they re-sign David Andrews. But, again, I'm not Bill Belichick. I can't give him the contract, though I would love to. Oh, and Chiefs, don't even get started about that defense that is full of nobodies who make plays here and there. And the few people that are known, Frank Clark, you overpaid for him in the trade, and then you overpaid for him in money. And he's been kind of a no-show since. Chris Jones, I'll give you that one. He was a good signing. I do think you gave him a ton of money that you necessarily can't afford, but, good for you. You got a top 3 defensive tackle, and Tyrann Mathieu is just one of the biggest trash talkers, and he got flamed in the Super Bowl for it. The Chiefs, you're not a dynasty. You're doing the exact opposite of what a dynasty should be. You want to make a dynasty? Look at what the Buccaneers are doing right now. The Buccaneers are doing what you should have done years ago. Before you sign Mahomes, you get team-friendly contracts. You do void years. You gave Mahomes 10 years, $500 million. You know how much the middle or the back end of that money is going to do? And you just restructured, pushing more money down the line. I get it, the TV deal is going to give a lot of money for teams The cap could probably jump to somewhere between 50 and 70 mil more than what it is right now next year, just from the TV deal that's coming next year. But Chiefs, you're crazy if you think that they would stomp the Patriots right now. The Patriots, they still, if anything, they need more depth on the defensive line. The secondary is one of the best in the league. And the offense, they have more talent on. They don't necessarily have a better quarterback. Easily. Mahomes, I will say, best quarterback in the league right now. Cam Newton, terrible last year. Am I necessarily happy that he's the starting quarterback? No, but I'll live with it because they just gave him a lot of talent. So, if he doesn't succeed with that offensive talent, then a lot of the more blame goes on Cam Newton that he's kind of done. But we'll see how that goes. But the idea that the Chiefs will stomp the Patriots, you are funny, sir. Very funny, as you might as well just throw a wig and some makeup on because you're a clown. Thank you very much. Refresh the Patriots page. Still the same dumb tweet that guy put earlier. Let's check out some NFL league-wide news. The Titans released cornerback Adoree Jackson. The Titans just got worse. I just see that. Thank you, David. Just saw that. The Titans just released cornerback Adoree Jackson and offensive tackle Dennis Kelly. What are the Titans doing? Are they just going to re-sign Desmond King and think he could take the whole league on? Like, I don't know. You just cut Malcolm Butler a few days ago. Now you cut Adoree Jackson. Adoree Jackson was a very good returner and special teams player. He was more of, like, depth secondary for the Titans. But he was a first-round pick, and you release him? Oh boy. Titans are going to look very different next year. And I don't necessarily think it's going to be a good different. You let go Malcolm Butler, Adoree Jackson, Kenny Vaccaro. So who are your two starting corners next year? Desmond King and Christian Fulton. Christian Fulton was god-awful last year. Titans are going to be very interesting. Jerry McDonald on Twitter have heard both sides of this for a few years now that the Raiders are cash poor. One side, and this includes people in the building, say it's absolutely true. Other sides says no chance that funds are available. Hudson's release looks cash motivated. It seemed like from the previous tweet that the move was more Rodney Hudson wanted to be released, but this could quite be possible. The Raiders, they did just build a massive stadium, which does look very nice. I have said that in the future I would like to travel to LA to go see their new stadium. And Vegas, that'd be a cool stadium to see too. I do eventually want, in the future, I'd like to travel to see a Patriots game at every stadium. Hopefully I'd get there career-wise, but if not, I'll just pay for the plane tickets and the game tickets. Hopefully I don't go broke. But that's more on the end right now. Michael Parrott, supported by Ian Rappaport, former Patriots defensive end, signs a 1-year and $1.3 million deal with the Houston Texans. Derek Rivers is a former third-round pick of the New England Patriots who did not know how to stay healthy ever, but in the 1 year that he was decently healthy, did not play for the Patriots because he couldn't do anything because he was bad. I don't like the signing from the Texans, but Nick Caserio's the GM, former Patriots front office man. The amount of teams that just try and poach players from the Patriots because they want to be the next Patriots because they have Patriots people in their rooms. I just it's gross. Like, the Dolphins are trying to take David Andrews after they just took Ted Karras, I think it was last year. The Texans taking Derek Rivers. It's just bad. Mobile God, who should I bet on tonight in basketball NBA? I don't know who's playing tonight. I'm not a huge basketball follower. I'm a big LeBron fan. So I kind of hope the Lakers do well. Take a look at that. Jazz are playing the Celtics. Cavs playing the Heat. Hawks playing the Rockets. Lakers are playing the Timberwolves. Yeah. If I'm not recommending you do this, so you can't come back at me. But Lakers versus Timberwolves. If I'm putting money on a game, I don't know what the spreads are, whatnot, blah 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 blah. But I'm liking the Lakers, who are, they're 4-6 in their last group, but they're on a 2-game win streak, playing the Timberwolves, who are 2-8 in their last 10. That would be the game I'm looking at. If there's a different one, yeah. Lakers scraped the Warriors last game too. Yeah, I'm liking that Lakers pick. They beat the Pacers too. There's a different one. Celtics Jags. Actually, that'd be a good game to watch. Yeah, definitely looks like the Lakers Timberwolves aren't the Knicks doing well this year? The Knicks have actually broke even this year. Celebration time for them. But they are playing the 76ers, who are 8-2 in their last bit. That'd be a decent pick too, picking the 76ers over the Knicks. I'm not crazy follower on NBA. I follow the playoffs, that's about it. But there you go. If you want to bet on somebody, I would put money on the Lakers game, saying that they beat the Timberwolves, but you do you. Let's refresh the NFL page, see what's going on over there. Still the Adoree Jackson news. Oh, no, refresh. Boldest off-season predictions. So, what would be my boldest off-season prediction? This might mean something. I don't know what. We'll take a look at some more of these in a bit. My boldest off-season prediction would have to be that Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson do not get traded before week 1 of the NFL season. That's my bold prediction. So many rumors going around that they're going to get traded. I say that it does not happen. Odell Beckham putting on Twitter saying second act. Whoa, let's not go to Twitter. Huh. This bottom tweet there said come to Pats. See if there's any news on that lower. But Leonard Williams received the 4th most guaranteed money in Giants history. The other 3 being quarterback Eli Manning with $65 million in 2015, wide receiver Odell Beckham with $65 in 2018, defensive end Olivier Vernon with $52.5 in 2016, and now defensive lineman Leonard Williams with $45 in 2021. So, going a bit further here, 49ers remain extremely committed to re-signing Trent Williams. There's flirtations with the market, Casey at the top, but San Francisco continues to make the push. Yeah, that's what I saw earlier today, that the 49ers and Kansas City are battling for Trent Williams. I don't know if the report I saw on 4 years, $80 million being on the table being true, but if they're still battling, that means the Chiefs might be counter-offering. Browns Daily Mock Draft. I know Adoree was out most of the year with a knee injury, but it's interesting. Yeah, I forgot Adoree Jackson had the knee injury. I know he's dealt with a few injuries, actually, now that I think about it. I mean, he was a first-round pick. I'm guessing it was the last year of his contract. I forget what year he was drafted. I think that was 2017. I think he was drafted in 2017. We can double check that. What year was Adoree Jackson drafted. He was drafted in 2017 by the Tennessee Titans, coming out of USC. So, look at that. I'm just that good. Chiefs release Damian Williams. David, you keep coming in clutch with the moves. Let me break them, please. Refresh that quick. Actually, that tweet was deleted. Funny. Steelers are releasing veteran linebacker Vince Williams. Per sources, Williams played 8 years in Pittsburgh and amassed nearly 475 tackles and 20.5 sacks. The move saves $4 million on the cap. Steelers still trying to make some cap room. Interesting move for them, especially after Bud Dupree just left. He's been with the team for 8 years, according to NFL Update. Don't necessarily agree with the move, as that just keeps dropping talent from the Steelers' linebacking core. They're going to be with just T.J. Watt. Chiefs releasing Damian Williams, Ian Rappaport. That makes sense after they re-signed Darrell Williams, who was backing up Clyde Edwards-Helaire for them last year. That was before the Le'Veon Bell signing. YouTube keeps buffering. Whatever. But that move makes sense. Actually, I wouldn't mind a Damian Williams pickup by the Patriots just to give some depth. I'm sure he's going to be cheap. He was good, consistent. He wasn't necessarily like a top-tier guy. He wasn't a 3-down back, which is why the Chiefs went and got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Edwards-Helaire is a 3-down back. They brought on Le'Veon Bell because Le'Veon Bell wanted a Super Bowl. That didn't happen. But I understand the move by the Chiefs. Gives them a little bit more cap room. I know it's definitely a positive gain. I just forget how much it was. I've seen the idea thrown around before. Odell Beckham posting some cryptic tweets. Where did he get traded to? That's got to be what it is. He knows what's going on, but I don't know where. No buffering on your end. It might not be going on yet. I get in the YouTube studio, it tells me it says error. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. May or may not happen, but we'll see. Why is Odell Beckham being cryptic? We haven't seen cryptic Odell Beckham in a while. I think since the Giants. They really had him under wraps in Cleveland. But NFL update, there has been chatter that a lot of cuts have not been made yet. We're starting to see some roll in now. Teams must be under the salary cap by 4 Eastern time tomorrow. I will not be able to stream tomorrow, which is why I'm doing it today. I did the video last night. If I get the time tomorrow, maybe I'll do a late night video on the moves made Wednesday. But we're just covering some of the moves made live now. Still the Vince Williams move. I want to know what's going on with Odell Beckham, because that would be amazing if he came to the Patriots, especially if it's not restructured, because then the Browns would have to keep some money and we'd get Odell Beckham for cheap. And we'd get a true wide receiver 1. That would be lit. Absolutely awesome. That would be. If that were to happen. I doubt he got cut. I think it would be a net loss if they cut him. But yeah, nothing on the Patriots end either. What happened there? Second act. Wouldn't it be his third act if he went to another team, because he went from the Giants to the Browns? That's just me, though. Where's Odell Beckham going? Let's figure this out. Odell Beckham Jr. Odell shows off speed. These are all 1 day ago. So he's been recovering from his ACL. Huh. Kevin Stefanski says Browns can keep Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry despite big salaries. That was a week ago. Where's his Twitter? Last time he posted was March 12th. I'm guessing that's him playing COD. Yeah. Oh, he likes the Car 98. Second act, God, thank you for clarity. What are we thinking, guys? If you got traded, if you had to make a guess, who do you get traded to? If it's not the Patriots would be my first guess. But if it's not them, maybe the Jags? Did they trade him to the Jaguars? That'd be an interesting trade. I think the 33rd overall for Odell Beckham. I think he goes back to New York. Really? If he went back to New York, that would just be so cryptic. Hence the second act. That'd be kind of odd, but I wouldn't be surprised. Dave Gettleman's kind of weird. So Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham, for those who don't know, they were like roommates in college. They both went to LSU, were top guys there. I even believe they came out of the same draft. We'll get to Josh Doctson in a moment. But I don't know. Dave Gettleman made that really weird when he left because like 2 weeks before they traded him, he was like, we didn't give him an extension to trade him, and then boom, he got traded. So that happened. They got Jabril Peppers out of it, as well as some picks. I don't know. I don't even think that... Can the Giants afford that? I don't know. That seems a bit odd to me. I saw a thing yesterday. It turned out to be false. But it was a false rumor that the Jaguars traded DJ Chark and a little bit to the Ravens for Orlando Brown. But that turned out to be false. The kid of Shad Khan, owner of the Jags, came out and said it was false. But would still be kind of interesting. I think DJ Chark would do well in Baltimore. And the Jags need an offensive tackle. That was a weird franchise tag. They franchise tagged Cam Irving, right? I think that's it. Or Cam Robinson. Wait, I want to double check this. It was the weirdest franchise tag I've seen. Yeah, Cam Robinson was franchise tagged by the Jacksonville Jaguars. But I don't understand that because he's not that good. I would have just let him hit the open market and get him for cheap. That doesn't seem like the smartest move to me either. But I don't know. If I had to guess, I'm thinking Odell Beckham's either going to the Pats or the Jaguars. Getting back to some of the forum news. Jets wide receiver Josh Doctson plans on returning this season after opting out last season. I'm told he went on a humanitarian mission to Africa in 2020. His 2021 cap charge $985,000. Doctson did fairly well over in Washington. I don't think he was worth the first round pick he got a few years ago, or he was drafted with. Hey, if I'm the Jets, I'm keeping him around. If that's his cap, it's cheap, and he has a high ceiling, and you already know what his floor is. It's kind of garbage, so I think it's worth it for them. The Jets kind of need some help in the receiving room between Jamison Crowder, Denzel Mims, and now Josh Doctson, because Brashad Perriman is a free agent. There's been a lot of chatter of cuts. Yeah, we already knew that. let's see if there's any more news. It went off on a little bit of a thing. Will Madden ever return to greatness? Listen, I've been hoping. I got into a little bit of a kick when they fixed the trades, except it wasn't necessarily a fix. It was I had a lot of fun with it. I just traded mid-rounders for all-star players. It was so good. You could still mess around with it. I think the things Madden needs to fix is All Pro is too easy when it works. All Pro is the most inconsistent challenge mode of them all because it's either too easy and I can score. So I'm not the best Madden player, but when I do, like when I'm on my game, like it feels like Madden. It's very tricky. The game itself isn't realistic, like gameplay wise, and I think that needs a lot of fixing. So between that and franchise mode, there is a thing that they're gonna be adding assistant coaches that leaked when they did the trade update. There was a video on that. I don't know. I'm hoping Madden 22 does well. I'm definitely going to compare it to whatever the 2K company comes out with. See which one has a better franchise mode. Get on board with that. I am excited for NCAA coming back. Be fun to work with players there. Would be fun to bring some different colleges to like the national championship. I don't know if they're going to use real players though. That I don't know if it's been confirmed or not. But I don't think Madden will ever return to its exact greatness. I think it's kind of where it is right now. There's a reason that the NFL took away their exclusive rights. We'll put it that way. No updates currently on the Patriots end. Is probably going to get slower as time goes on. Not a crazy ton of moves going on right now. Someone posted a question about players playing on all teams in a division. Kevin Seitler just recently signed with the Ravens. He played for the Bengals and Browns. Has any player actually played for all four teams? I know Ryan Fitzpatrick was close. If he signed with the Patriots instead of Washington, he would have gotten all four. Did Josh McCown ever hit all four? I don't think Josh McCown ever played for the Titans. Let's see. Recently, he was with the Texans, and I know he didn't play for the Titans or the Colts. He was with the Eagles, and he didn't play for the Cowboys. He was with the Bucks, but he never played for the Saints. I don't think there's been ever player to play for all four. Yeah, we already knew Damian Williams got cut. That was already posted. Let's take a look. Has any... Whoa, I can't type today. Has any player ever played in all four teams in a division NFL? JT O'Sullivan played for the Packers, Lions, Vikings, and Bears. Would you look at that? He was a quarterback, actually. He played for a bunch of teams. It looks like 49ers. He even played for the Patriots. Let's see. He played for the New Orleans Saints. It looks like that's where he started. He was selected by the Saints in the 6th round of the 2002 NFL Draft with the 186th overall pick. Brady was 199. Haha. Anyways, signed with the Packers. O'Sullivan and a 2nd round pick in the 2005 draft were traded to the Packers for Mike McKenzie. Don't know who that is. I'm on the younger side. I don't know who some of the older players are. Then he went to the Chicago Bears practice squad in 2005. Off the Bears practice squad by the Minnesota Vikings after Dante Culpepper suffered a season-ending injury. He was then inactive as the Vikings' 3rd quarterback for the final 8 games of the season. Went to the Patriots in 2006 for less than a month. went to the Panthers, went back to the Bears, Lions, hit the Lions in 2007. So yeah, he hit all 4 teams. Didn't necessarily play a game with all of them, but yeah, he was there. He started 8 games in 2008 for the San Francisco 49ers. In his career, had 145 completions on 257 attempts for 56.4% completion percentage, 1,800 yards, and 9 touchdowns to 13 interceptions. So he was awful. But he did play for 4 different teams in the same division. So one player did. The more you know. Still no news going on over there. But taking a look further. Oh, finally something new. Bleacher Report calls the Patriots the biggest losers of free agency so far. Really? I want to read this article. So, Bleacher Report, known reporter of sports. I've actually not cared for Bleacher Report's opinions recently. They haven't been the greatest. Winners and losers of the NFL's early tampering period. Winner, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I agree with that. Tampa Bay has done very well keeping players around while also being able to stay under the cap. Loser, New England Patriots. Let's see how bad this take is. While Tom Brady is helping his team financially fit pieces into place, his old squad has been busy overpaying in early free agency. New England Patriots have agreed to deals with Jonnu Smith, Jalen Mills, Devon Godshaw, Matt Judon, Nelson Aguilar, and Hunter Henry. They re-signed Cam Newton before the start of the contact period. Smith will earn $50 million over 4 years with $31.3 million guaranteed. Mills will earn $24 million over 4 years. Godshaw will get 2 years, $60 million. According to Schefter, Judon's due. So it's going over all the contracts. While the group will provide a huge influx of talent, the moves also go against the idea of building through the draft. The Patriots quoted, "The Patriots are paying top of market prices for players coming off their best seasons to play major roles. That's the opposite of how it's done. Today is a disaster for them, and that's being reported as a triumph." Mike Tainer of Pro Football. Isn't that the same? Yes, it is. Same guy, Mike Tainer. Not smart. New England no longer has the core needed to consistently contend by adding budget pieces in free agency, so it overpaid, seemingly in a bid to return to relevance, with the Buffalo Bills and Miami Dolphins having won 13 and 10 games in 2020, though there's no guarantee the Patriots' spending spree will even put them in contention in the AFC East. See, I don't think he understands what the contracts do. So, I will agree. I didn't either, but this guy is clearly an NFL reporter, so he should know. I'm just a bum at a computer. So the contracts, most of them are not guaranteed. So, I mean, I think it's a win because it's only expensive if most of the players perform. So it's not necessarily a bad move for the Patriots. Packers GOAT, will this day of free agency, I'm guessing that, well, yeah, yesterday was very fun. Got into a few different things in school where it was super excited and people thought I was crazy. Did happen today, though, too, with the Hunter Henry thing. Clickbait, a bum at a computer. Hey, we out here. I'm sitting here with my computer, second monitor, and my microphone. We're doing what we can over here. This guy's getting paid to have bad takes. I just get canceled. Loser. Teams in need of offensive line help. That is true. There are a bunch of people still out there. Joe Thuney was definitely the best player out there to get. Interior-wise, Trent Williams is still out there, but he's going to cost a lot. So, Uh, I mean, yeah, offensive line is still an issue for people this offseason. R.I.P. the Seahawks. Russell Wilson must be crying really hard right now. Brandon Sheriff uh, is a winner. Why is he a winner? He's the only guard making more annually than Tooney will. It's because he is on a second franchise tag, but Sheriff would presumably likely to remain the league's top player at his position. I mean, it makes him a winner because he gets money, but I don't know. I feel like he would want to sign with a different team, get even more money. Loser. Teams in need of safety help. Yes, once John Johnson was signed by the Cleveland Browns, which was a 3-year, $33 million contract, that kind of just the safety market. Anthony Harris is still out there, but a bunch of safeties got franchise tagged between Marcus May, Marcus Williams, and Justin Simmons. So that kind of just cleared out the safety market. And there's not even a very good safety class in the draft. The one safety, I forget his name. I think it's like Morig is the one safety who's maybe a first-round pick in the draft this year. It's a bad look. How are the Saints winners? I'm sorry. The Saints are winners? Drew Brees retired. Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston are battling for a starting position. I don't think that's necessarily winners after you just made the playoffs and were trying to make the Super Bowl for the last few years and kept getting screwed over. Don't necessarily think that's a win. After nearly clearing the $100 million cap dollars, yeah, because they were that much over the cap. What? They had to get rid of so much talent and just kicked it down the way. I don't know. I don't agree with that either. Loser, Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah, you don't even have to go much into that one. Njoku and Ertz can be had at the same price. Actually, I'd prefer having Njoku over Zach Ertz right now. Zach Ertz is older. Njoku, you can at least have a chance of having like a second coming. Nah. Patriots are definitely not the biggest losers of free agency, though. I can tell you that for sure. Favorite beverage, go. Gatorade Glacier Freeze. Easily. I can drink that all day. Actually, I got the Gatorade X bottles so I could have like the water Gatorade. Because it's a little bit healthier because it's water. I actually have it with me right now. Fresh water that's in Gatorade flavor. For the Bengals and Chidobe Awuzie, it's a 3-year, $21.75 million deal that includes $9.25 million in year one, another $250 in incentive each year if he makes the Pro Bowl for max $22.5 million. Reported by Mike Garafolo and Tom Pelissero. Chidobe Awuzie did not do well at the Cowboys the last few years. I do think he was a product of who was the corner that they had? Am I just blanking, or did the Cowboys never have a good corner? I forget. But Chidobe Awuzie definitely was not the best corner option out there. He didn't perform well for the Cowboys, but he did still get paid 3-year, $21.75 million. If it includes that much in the first year, they're making it so that if he's not good after year one, they can still have a way to get more later. I don't know why the Bengals wouldn't just want to keep William Jackson, who definitely performed better than Chidobe Awuzie last year. Would have much rather kept him. Just means the Cowboys are stuck with Trevon Diggs as their number one corner. Not good. We have terminated the contract. How many people are going to post the Vince Williams move? There will be 4 quarterbacks taken in the first 6 or 7 picks of the draft. Take that to the bank. Adam Schefter on NFL Live. Yeah, that's kind of what I said earlier. But it's going to more rely on trade-ups. Who's going to trade up to get these players? So I think teams that are likely to take a quarterback in the first round include the Jaguars, Jets. I don't think the Falcons are, especially with the restructure. Panthers, Broncos, 49ers, Patriots, Bears, Washington. Sweet tea. I'm not a tea fan. Never was. Whether tea or iced tea. Never quenched my taste buds, but I have really funky taste buds. So there's at least half a dozen teams that need a quarterback, and there's less than that in the draft. What it's going to come down to is if the Jets want a quarterback, they'll be there to get him, and they'll take him. If they don't, it's going to be a bidding war to trade up to their pick to go get Zach Wilson or Justin Fields. I don't know which quarterback is going to come off the field first, because we've seen it in past drafts. So I think we're going to look back and compare this draft to the 2018. Was it 2018 that had Baker Mayfield? It was. We're going to look back and compare this to the 2018 draft, because somebody's going to go 1. There's not a definitive 2. So that draft had Baker Mayfield, Saquon Barkley. There's no definitive number 1 pick that's a non-quarterback, right? So in previous years, you've had Chase Young, definitive number 2 pick, or definitive best pick other than a quarterback. Nick Bosa, definitive best pick other than a quarterback. Saquon Barkley, definitive best pick other than a quarterback. So this is going to be one of those years where there's not a guarantee of who the best player to get is. There's no all-star edge player. There's no all-star defensive back. Or there are, but they're later. That's when, so is it going to be Penei Sewell or Christian Darrisaw or Rashawn Slater as the first offensive lineman off the board? Is it going to be Caleb Farley or Patrick Surtain as the first defensive back? Is it going to be Kwity Paye, Gregory Rousseau, or Joseph Osai? Best all-around halfback, Christian McCaffrey, easily. Christian McCaffrey, definitely the best running back in the league right now. I don't think injury is going to affect him that much either. We'll see how the money goes, though. Be between him and Derrick Henry, but McCaffrey's gotten more total yards, I think, in his career. Henry's going to come to a point where he's going to lose tread on his tires. He's going to lose tread on his tires. He had 1,800 yards and 2,000 yards. Almost 4,000 yards in 2 years. Not that great. Over Barkley, Kamara, and Cook. Barkley's gotten injured twice. I know I said Barkley was the unanimous best pick out other than a quarterback in that draft, but he has gotten injured a few times. I'm not too high on him going forward. Kamara, I made the mistake of being down on Kamara last year, and that did not look well on my part, as Kamara actually played very well last year, especially in that game where he had like 6 touchdowns. That was in fantasy football semifinals, and I somehow won with Stephon Diggs. I don't think I faced Kamara, though. I don't think the person with Kamara made the finals. And Dalvin Cook's good, but he's also dealt with injuries. McCaffrey's just had the 1 year of the injury, and he fought like hell multiple times to come back and play from it. Back on the quarterbacks, I don't think Mac Jones goes in that first 6 or 7, which is why I think it says 4 quarterbacks, but I also am debatable on Trey Lance going that high. But that's just me. If I'm a GM, I do think all the quarterbacks except Justin Fields are top 10 worthy. I don't think Justin Fields is worth a top 10 pick. Am I the only person on this sub that doesn't want a quarterback in the first round? Yes, you are. We don't. Micah Parsons isn't going to be used this year, because if we were to draft Micah Parsons, he'd be used over Dante Hightower. I don't think Dante Hightower, he's getting older, but unless he has a pop-off year, probably just come back on a decent deal. Wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots trade out of the first round to get more second-round picks. Bad take. It's draft day. Mac Jones, no matter what. That's what my paper would say. If I'm the Patriots right now at 15, I'm trading up, taking Mac Jones. Mac Jones, no matter what. Definitely not. Who is the quarterback in draft day that nobody this is gonna bug me. Draft day. Draft day was a good movie. If you haven't watched that, by the way, it's not necessarily accurate on what goes on, and like the draft and whatnot, but still cool. Bo Callahan. That's who it was. Bo Callahan was the quarterback that was debated over. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. I loved that. Vontae Mack, no matter what. Yeah, Draft Day, good movie to watch. Bo Callahan, that was a good movie. I won't say anything if you haven't seen it. Looks like you haven't. But it was a very good movie. Would definitely recommend. It's one of I'll watch it like before the draft start. Like a few days before the draft, just to get in the draft mood. Little slow on Pixar. Matt Judon's contract. Signing bonus 18 mil, salaries 1 mil, 11 mil, 11 mil, 9.5 mil, annual per game roster bonuses up to 1 mil, all pro incentive 522 through 24. So that means his cap hit for this year. Signing bonus. He's cheap this year then. That contract is backloaded. That's what it means. Huh. That's a little odd. If anything... Oh, it's a... I'm like, when did Judon start singing? It's a singing bonus for 18 million? Dang. Fields must have had a late night. Honestly, that's not bad. If his cap hit is that low... His contract is backloaded. Favorite ice cream flavor? Go chocolate, peanut butter, or cookies and cream. Easily. You ever get like a milkshake that's like... My favorite milkshake is like peanut butter Oreo. It's amazing. Slaps so hard. Devon Godshaw's contract. Max value 2 years, 15 mil plus 1 mil in incentives. Yeah. So I stopped going to Twitter. Full guaranteed 2 years, 9 mil, 5.5 signing bonus. 2021 cap number. So his cap number is low for this. I gotta stop clicking on it. I'm highlighting it. That's the issue. His cap number is relatively low for this year too. Why are they? I mean, Godshaw's contract is 2 years anyway. Johnny Smith, max value 4 years, 50 million. Full guarantee 3 years, 31.5, 15 mil signing bonus. 2021 cash, 2021 cap number. So what the Patriots did is they backloaded all of these contracts. That's why they still have so much money. So 4 mil, 4 mil. If I'm thinking of this right, if Judon's cap hit this year's around 6.5, Johnny Smith is about 5, Godshaw's is about 4, so 9, 15. The Patriots still have a lot of money to spend this year then. Huh. It's a little interesting, actually. I wonder why they're backloading contracts so much, actually. That is a little interesting. I don't know if I would backload them that much. I think I'd put a little bit more of each of them into this year. I wonder if they're doing that, though, if it's not the guarantees that are backloaded. If they backloaded unguaranteed money, then what they're doing is they're saying, hey, play well or you get cut and we get a lot of cap space back. So that makes more sense for what the deal is. That would be the only reason I could think of that you would backload that much, is if it's not a ton of guarantees that are backloaded. Currently 3 viewers, running at almost 2 hours on this live stream. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you've been here the whole time, awesome. If you are just joining in, thank you so much. Doing well for first stream. So this was kind of like a practice run for the draft, because I would really like to do a live stream on draft night. I think that would be really cool to do. Update from Nate Taylor. From my understanding, Damian Williams was stunned to learn the Chiefs were releasing him. He was preparing to return to the team after opting out last season. The Chiefs, who remain very active in pursuing free agency, cleared $2.1 million in cap space with such a move. Never had chocolate peanut butter ice cream. We'll have to try. Yeah, definitely my favorites. I'm a peanut butter fanatic, and mixing that with chocolate, very good. Also, peanut butter with either chocolate or vanilla does very good. But if you do it with vanilla, you do have to throw like some hot fudge in that. Get the real mix. So they just kind of surprised Damian Williams with that move then. It's a little odd to me. Let's have a little bit of fun right now. It's a little bit slow at the moment. Right now, contracts are just being updated. So someone came up with Patriots options at quarterback. Oh boy. Actually, we'll take a look at that real quick. Free agency options: Jacoby Brissett, Tyrod Taylor, Brian Hoyer. I'd say maybe Jacoby Brissett, not Tyrod Taylor or Brian Hoyer. Realistic trade options: I would love a Minshew trade. No way Jets trade Darnold to us. And Jimmy Garoppolo, they won't trade him back. That'd be very odd. I heard there were reports that the Patriots looked in at the Jimmy G trade before re-signing Cam Newton, so I don't think that would happen. I would love a Minshew trade. I think that'd be really cool. But if we did Minshew, that'd be kind of throwing away the season quarterback-wise. Draft options: Trey Lance would likely have to move up. You'd have to move up to get most of these guys. See, this is why I like Mac Jones, though. Might not need to trade up to get him. Possibly. More of a pocket passer, but smart. Could start day one if necessary. That's what Bill Belichick wants, and that's why I think he fits the most with the Patriots, is he's smart. You can build around smart players. Like, if I were to run a team, I'm going to look for smart players who they want to understand the game, that they're not just talented, you know. Granted, there's some positions where you have to have some talent to do well, and you have to be of some form of an athlete. I was never that much or big enough to be a football player, so that's why I never got to play. But I understand the game very well, I like to feel like. So, with Trey Lance, I'd like Trey Lance or Mac Jones. Zach Wilson definitely won't be there. But Justin Fields, I'm not too high on either. But Mac Jones or Trey Lance, that would be a good move for a draft trade up. Still nothing on the Patriots. I wonder what that Odell Beckham thing was. Oh, Bucks just signed Jason Pierre-Paul to a 2-year contract extension. I think that's more of a move to kick some money down the line that he'll have. 2-year deal. Or was he a free agent? I don't remember if he was a free agent or not. I didn't think he was. But either way, Pierre-Paul's done well as a pass rusher. He's kind of revived his career with the Buccaneers after being cut by the Giants. So I think that's a good move for the Buccaneers. I don't know where the Buccaneers are pulling all this money from, but that's kind of surprising me. Still no Patriots moves at the moment. Let's do something different. I'll do first official mock draft. This channel here. We'll do 1 round. A 1 round mock draft. And we'll see how this goes. So, instantly right off the bat, Trevor Lawrence is going to go number 1 overall. That's just simple, plain as that. This is where it does get interesting, though, if the Jets do take a quarterback. And if they do, I'm going to go with Zach Wilson here. Zach Wilson has more upside, and if they were interested in Justin Fields at that point, you might as well just keep Sam Darnold. So this is going to be no trades. Dolphins at 3. Looking at Jamar Chase, they've been pushing for Kenny Golladay. If for some reason they lose out on Kenny Golladay, even if they don't, Jamar Chase, Kenny Golladay, and Devontae Parker, that would make for a good receiving core for Tua Tagovailoa to be able to work around. Falcons at 4. It's a bit of a reach, but I'd give him Kyle Pitts at 4. He's done very well as a tight end for Florida, and I think he would do well with the Falcons. Give Matt Ryan another weapon, especially after his restructuring. Seems like they want to keep him there and don't intend to move on from him anytime soon. At 5, the Bengals, in desperate need of some offensive line help, would give them Penei Sewell out of Oregon. Did not play last year, but was projected as one of the top offensive prospects before opting out, at least on the offensive line. So, gets the Bengals a desperate need of an offensive lineman, especially offensive tackle. I don't see why that would be anywhere of a bad move unless he just has no work ethic, and nothing happens there. At 6, the Eagles, they desperately need a receiver, and that is where they come in and take Devontae Smith out of Alabama. Heisman winner. I don't see anything wrong with that move there. Devontae Smith would be a great receiver for the Eagles. He's fast, shifty. His only knock on him is that he's smaller, and I think that will lead to a bit of a difficulty, especially if defensive backs decide to run press on him, push him off the ball. I could see that being an issue, but other than that, Devontae Smith looks to be a very good receiver coming out. And to the Lions, they'll give him his buddy Jalen Waddle, also out of Alabama. Waddle did well as a complimentary receiver to Devontae Smith. They both helped each other out in terms of doing well for Mac Jones, giving him outlets in the receiving core. And they'll both go back-to-back in the draft. I wouldn't be surprised if they do actually go back-to-back. I'd put some money on that. That once one of those receivers goes, somebody's going to want to take the other. I don't think they fall anywhere close to the Patriots. At 8, the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to give him a quarterback, Justin Fields out of Ohio State. I know I knocked him earlier, but he'll probably go to the Panthers. The Panthers have been looking to move on from Teddy Bridgewater, so would not be surprised with that move. But I'll give Justin Fields a year to develop behind Teddy Bridgewater and see how it goes. But Tyreek Hill Small, said every Chiefs fan. Tyreek Hill is also one of the fastest men in the world. I forget where I saw it. It was easily over a year ago. But from the past Summer Olympics, if he were to run, I think it was either the 100-meter dash or the 200-meter dash, he would have came in 5th with his fastest sprint ever. So that's putting it in perspective there. Devontae Smith is fast, but he's not Olympic sprinter fast. At 9, I think cornerback Caleb Farley goes first out of Virginia Tech. There's been debate whether Patrick Surtain or Caleb Farley will go first between the two. I think Farley goes first here. Alabama defensive backs have been hit or miss recently, so think the move for Caleb Farley, Virginia Tech, doesn't necessarily play with the highest talent over there, but I do think it would help the Broncos out a bit, who did just let Kareem Jackson go too. So they are in desperate need of a corner, which also helps out the Cowboys, who are also in need of a corner, who will take Patrick Surtain out of Alabama at number 10. Patrick Surtain did well during the playoffs, though. Those were the main games I watched for Alabama. He did well on Chris Olave, the Ohio State wide receiver, and he did well, kept Olave under wraps. That's why the Crimson Tide pretty much killed Ohio State. But it'll be two defensive backs from Alabama going to the Cowboys, as Trevon Diggs went to the Cowboys last year in the second round. So two Alabama defensive backs over there. Diggs definitely needs some help, and Surtain should be a viable option for that. At number 11, the Giants, who are in need of a wide receiver, but there's not necessarily a wide receiver worth their time at 11. They will take edge rusher Kwity Paye out of Michigan. Michigan has been the product of outside linebackers and edge rushers recently. Not necessarily top guys, but between Kwity Paye, Josh Uche, and Chase Winovich, they've been boom, boom, boom in each draft, and they've all done well. Funny how two of them are on the Patriots. I hope Uche gets more of a role this next year. There's one play where he wasn't supposed to be on the field, but the Patriots had 10 men on the field. Not only did he recognize that before the ball was snapped, he ran onto the field right before it was snapped. He knew that the other team knew. He knew that the other team knew that there were 10 on the field. Gets on the field, sees the open guy, makes the play, or makes the tackle for the play. It was a great thing to see from him. Just the fact that he had the instincts to do that. I hope he does that on the field when he does play. Loved that from him. At 12, the San Francisco 49ers. They're going to take a quarterback. They're going to do it now, and I think they take... we have no news. That's true. Take a look, see... Oh, I don't have my premium thing on. NFL news. Oh, boy. Former Cowboys quarterback is signing a 1-year, $10 million deal with the chance to earn another $3 million in incentives with the Chicago Bears. Thank you for putting that out there. Of course, right when we go to do something fun, news happens. So Andy Dalton going to the Chicago Bears, 1-year, $10 million deal. That seems a little odd to me. Especially with the idea that the Bears, they still have Nick Foles on the roster. Means Trubisky isn't coming back. But it also doesn't mean that they can't trade up and draft a quarterback. I'm hoping they don't, but it still could happen. But at the moment, it looks like Andy Dalton will be battling Nick Foles for the starting job. That's the only thing that broke. That's funny, actually. I don't think there's any... That means there's probably nothing new on the Patriots front. So, that's been a meme going around lately, is the Boston tight end party, Boston Tea Party. Edelman jumps on the bandwagon on it. Funny. Do enjoy it, though. Total cap hits for Newton, Jonnu Smith, Mills, Gottschall, Wise, Bourne is 31. Patriots only spent half their money. No way. The Patriots backloaded these contracts so much that they only spent half of their cap space this year. Huh. That is very interesting. So I wonder why they backloaded so much. They definitely have the money to keep J.C. Jackson and David Andrews now, who I've been high on them bringing back. They have the money to bring in more defensive rotational pieces. That is very odd to me. More Mitch. Where's Trubisky gonna go? Who could Trubisky sign with that would need him? Maybe the Jags? Would he go to the Jags? I'm just trying to think. Because Mitch Trubisky, he played well at the end of last year. The Saints don't need a quarterback anymore. The Steelers have their project in Haskins. I don't know where Mitch Trubisky goes. If the Patriots didn't re-sign Cam Newton, I would be willing to pay Mitch Trubisky a few mil to come try out New England. But I think Cam Newton's better for the locker room. But I think Mitch Trubisky is better for the play. Back towards the draft, I was just about to draft Trey Lance as quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. Lance gives a athletic quarterback to Kyle Shanahan, something I'm sure Shanahan wants, something he doesn't necessarily get in Jimmy Garoppolo. Would help out the 49ers offense significantly when he became the starter. At 13, Chargers in need of some more offensive line help. They will go and draft Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern. Slater, Penei Sewell, and Darisaw all battling to be the top offensive tackles coming out of the draft this year. Offensive tackle is definitely a position of strength in the early rounds of the draft this year. So it is beneficial for them this year, for the Chargers, to be able to go get one of those guys, and they will be able to at the 13th spot, considering there's going to be a lot of skill players going in the top 10, whether receivers, quarterbacks, defensive backs, that more of that area. At 14, the Minnesota Vikings, also in need of offensive line help, will take Christian Darisaw out of Virginia Tech to help them out on that offensive line. They've had a rotational area around there recently, but they get another guy in there to help bolster that offensive line, make it easier for Dalvin Cook to run the ball and protect Kirk Cousins. The Patriots, with the 15th overall pick, would take Mac Jones, quarterback, Alabama. Excuse me. I was trying to drink some water. Went down the wrong way. But Mac Jones would be a amazing quarterback for the New England Patriots. Absolutely amazing. And would help out this offense so much. He's smart. He's a playmaker, especially when he has receivers. And that's what New England just did. They gave him Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne. Talent for days. I would love this. If Mac Jones gets drafted, I'm definitely getting Mac Jones jersey. I've been debating jerseys to get this year. Mac Jones would be number one priority if he got drafted. (16) The Arizona Cardinals, who are in need of secondary help after letting go Patrick Peterson, will take cornerback J.C. Horn out of South Carolina. There was a mock draft that had the Patriots taking J.C. Horn. I don't know. J.C. Horn coming out of South Carolina. Stephon Gilmore came out of South Carolina. Would help bolster the Cardinals secondary. Pause the draft. We have more news. You guys are breaking. I don't get like alerts. I gotta figure that out. That's the Andy Dalton news. Aww. So the cryptic tweet isn't cryptic, it's just about the ACL. Gronk, I'm a one-year deal guy for the rest of my career. Some moves by the Texans, no one big. No big news going on in that front. Was the more news just Odell Beckham not being cryptic? That would suck. Where is it? Oh boy. Must be something big. Just got the tweet. Oh, this must be huge. Is it Schefter or Rappaport? If it's big news, it's Schefter or Rappaport. Tyrod Taylor has reached a one-year deal worth up to $12.5 million with the Houston Texans. Oh boy. Oh boy. Where'd Deshaun Watson go? Hold on. Wait. Jaguars are expected to sign former Lions wide receiver Marvin Jones. See, I knew the Jaguars were going to take a receiver at some point. Yeah, beat you to it, David. So where's Watson going? Who cares about the rest of the draft? We'll leave it there just in case. But who knows if we'll finish that. Kevin Byard, funny. So he's responding to... So Kevin Byard is a safety on the Titans, and they just released Kenny Vaccaro, Malcolm Butler, and Adoree Jackson. Tyrod... Ooh. One-year deal worth up to... I hate that so much. Former Chargers tight end... quarterback. Wow, tight end. I've just been saying Chargers tight end all day from Hunter Henry. Tyrod Taylor reached agreement on a one-year deal worth up to $12.5 million with the Houston Texans. Where's Deshaun going? Alright. If the Patriots... Oh, so this Jeff Howe tweet... Jeff Howe's done really well in the last more than 24 hours. I've liked his reporting. But I think this is important for if Watson happens. So even after all this spending, the Patriots have more than enough cap space to take on Deshaun Watson and add more in free agency. I did it again. I gotta stop highlighting. If such a move were in the cards, these contracts were very soundly structured to mirror the exploding salary cap with the impending TV deals. Andrews' replacement, I would rather Andrews. I agree with that. If we all say Watson traded to the Patriots, that would just be amazing. This isn't fair. You guys have Twitter. You're getting the updates. Wait. It's gotta be Schefter then. Schefter's the man. Is it not? There's been nothing. It hasn't hit yet. Get me on Twitter. Alright, I'm liking Twitter. We already knew that. Come on. It's not Schefter. did? Where did I show it? I said Marvin Jones already. The Saints traded Malcolm Brown to the Jags. He's a former Patriot. He didn't do well for the Saints, though. Maybe he does well with the Jags. Jags are giving Lions wide receiver Marvin Jones a 2-year, $14.5 million contract, including $9.2 fully guaranteed. Oh, was the Malcolm Brown? You had me tricked. I thought it was Deshaun Watson. Scaring me. I feel like I should just sit on Rappaport and Schefter, though, because they're about to break this trade. You know it's about to happen. 2 years, $14.5 million deal. That is a good deal for the Jaguars for Marvin Jones. That is cheaper. Marvin Jones has been a consistent wide receiver for the Lions when he's been healthy. It is a good deal for them. Jake Heaps, if the Seahawks don't restructure Russell Wilson's contract and don't go after Rodney Hudson, I will be beyond disappointed. Wilson's quarterback coach, media mouth. Ooh. Got a little spiciness going on. No way the Seahawks trade Russell Wilson to the Patriots, though. I wouldn't be expecting of that. I need to get on Twitter and get those updates. You guys are cheating. We have been over 2 hours streaming, 2 hours and 13 minutes. 5 current viewers, still 2 likes. If you are popping in and out, thank you so much for popping in and out, because we've been fluctuating between 2 and 7. Very awesome to see. Hope you guys are still enjoying. I know there's 2 of you who have been here the whole time. Oh my God, David, thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. We're over here. Who needs all these other guys? Can just have some fun here. Refreshing Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter now. Waiting to break the Watson trade before you two. This is getting spicy up in here. It's gonna happen, and as soon as I click off, it's gonna happen. But I'll do it anyway. We're gonna go back to the mock draft for a little bit. See if anything changes on that end. So, the Raiders, only actual live stream who's talking about real-time off-season moves. Thank you, some guy in the street. Really appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe if you aren't already. Haven't seen you around here before. Would definitely appreciate it. Hope you stick around. Enjoy the content. We'll be live for probably about another hour, maybe some change. See how it goes from there. Definitely trying to break the news as quick as possible. See, notifications for Twitter, that would help. I'm not on Twitter yet, so not really gonna make an account right now live on stream, but we'll probably do that for next time. Galladay to Miami, it broke. Packers go. Did Galladay go to Miami? Listen, at this point, I'm not trusting anything unless Rappaport or Schefter break it. I don't know all, like, the team's reporters, so, like, if it's Patriots, I know, like, I'll trust Mike Reese or Jeff Howe. But other than that, I don't know all the other teams' reporters, so I'll wait for it to either pop up in the Reddit page or from Rappaport or Schefter. Galladay to Miami. Did it happen? Have not seen it yet, but am looking for it. I'm waiting for the David Andrews re-signing news. That's what I want. I want David Andrews re-signed. That would be very helpful for the Patriots. I think that would be, at this point, it'd just be the best move for them to make in the rest of the offseason. If they bring in Deshaun Watson, though, and don't re-sign David Andrews, I would be a little upset. I would be super happy that they brought in Deshaun Watson, but I would be upset that they got rid, or that they don't bring in David Andrews. Like, obviously, I'd pick Watson over David Andrews, but it would be very upsetting if that's what it costs to get Deshaun Watson. Still nothing yet on the Golladay move. Yeah, right now it's just the Marvin Jones, Malcolm Brown, and Andy Dalton. Those have been the moves so far. Yeah, Schefter. See, Schefter, he knows what's up. He said Tyrod Taylor provides some valuable insurance in the event anything happens to unfold with Houston's quarterback situation. ... When is Watson getting traded? I swear, if it is after this live stream. That would be the most painful thing ever. The NFC North quarterbacks: Aaron Rodgers, Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins, and Andy Dalton / Nick Foles. That's funny. That's really funny. Rodgers is going to smoke that division now. Whew! But, drafting Jordan Love was the bright idea, over getting a top wide receiver. Getting a top wide receiver apparently not in the books for them. But, it happens. Nothing crazy yet. But what do we think? What will the Patriots have to offer for Deshaun Watson? So they had the thing earlier. It was 15, the second rounder, and I think a late plus a 2022 1 or 2. Or that was just a trade up. I don't know. If we're getting Deshaun Watson, I feel like it has to be 2 first-rounders, which I would be a little disappointed in. But it looks like Belichick is realizing that his drafting hasn't been up to par lately. And Houston needs first-round picks. I keep refreshing Rappaport and Schefter because I'm the one streaming. I should be the one breaking the news. Nah, I'm playing. I ain't too pressed about that. Still got the mock draft halfway done. Well, I would love Mac Jones. But if Deshaun Watson's coming to town, ideal role, low-tier starting quarterback, that's not very nice. He's 6'2", 217 pounds. I think Mac Jones would be a great prospect for the Patriots, but that's just me. Bengals have signed Brandon Wilson to a 2-year contract extension through 2022. Safety for the Cincinnati Bengals. More news. Where's it at? It's not. All right, so Malcolm Brown's contract is a 2-year, $11 million deal with $8 million. That's a lot of guaranteed money. for Malcolm Brown because he didn't necessarily play great last year. So I wouldn't necessarily throw him in as getting that much guaranteed money, but hey, the Jags have some money to spend. Still nothing on the Deshaun Watson front or David Andrews. Oh, Ian Rappaport broke some news. So Rappaport's not going to post for a bit because he's on NFL Network right now. So, Shefty, come on. You know you want to break the Deshaun Watson news. The Patriots are the only team that can afford him. Except, wait. No, they wouldn't do. I almost, pictured an idea where Deshaun Watson got traded to the Jaguars for the first overall pick. And more, obviously. But that wouldn't make sense because it's in division. Why would you trade? No, they wouldn't do that. Bill O'Brien isn't still there still. They wouldn't make that dumb a move. It's a 1-year deal for less than $6 million to the Texans. A very solid deal for a backup quarterback. Base value is less than solid backup money and more if he plays. So he gets more than Cam Newton does, actually. That's kind of funny. He has more guaranteed money than Cam Newton. It's a little hilarious. But, hey, better them than us. Patrick... Y'all seeing this? The 5 of you, I know you guys are seeing this. Patrick Chung on Twitter. Big news coming. Stay tuned. Oh boy. Everyone's waiting for the Deshaun Watson trade. Bring it on. Listen, if the big news, if it's Patrick Chung, all right? If it's Deshaun Watson's my biggest hope. My second biggest hope is a David Andrews re-sign. My third biggest hope is they're bringing J.C. Jackson back. Listen, those David Andrews, J.C. Jackson will be cornerstones for the next few years for the Patriots, but they need to be brought back. But they can't do that if they just keep teasing. They keep teasing something. I told you, right as we do the draft, stuff was going to go down. I promise I will do a mock draft video at some point. Throw that over to the side. Mock draft was my best friend until Patrick Chung told me big news was coming and to stay tuned. Stay tuned for how long, man? How long do I gotta do this? Still the Marvin Jones signing. It's getting quiet for the storm to come. It's all gonna break at one moment. It's gonna be like, wham! Deshaun Watson traded to New England Patriots. That's what I'm hoping. NFL quarterbacks brought in by the Bears under GM Ryan Pace. Yeah, we'll get some more comedy in here. His first move was he signed Mike Glennon to, I think at the time it was like a 3-year, $40 million contract. But they ended up cutting him, so it was 1 year, $18 million. They traded up for one spot for Mitch Trubisky. The same draft that Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson were in. They traded a 4th-round pick for Nick Foles and his garbage contract. And now they just signed Andy Dalton. Not a fan. Jordan Raanan on Twitter. It's odd how that came in. But year 1 cap hit for Leonard Williams will be approximately $11 million. So that will net the Giants more than $8 million in cap space. Nate Solder probably another $6 million or so. And all of a sudden, Giants will be fine, have money to spend. This was always the plan. Don't worry about their cap. Giants just need their cap space to sign Kenny Golladay. Come on. Who's going to break it first? Schefter or Rappaport? Schefter or Rappaport? Got me going a madman with the refreshes. Currently 5 viewers. We've been streaming for 2.5 hours at this point. 5 viewers, 2 likes. There's 3 of you that should be liking the video right now, at least, if not more. Please like the video. It would help out tremendously. This will be a video after it goes live for people to view afterwards. Granted, not expecting nobody to watch it all the way through. Might do a separate video for if a Deshaun Watson trade happens. 2 more viewers just came in. That's dope. We're at 7 viewers now. Please be sure to like this if you haven't already. And we lost both. They're just popping in and out. But that's okay. I got news before. I see your chat, Mobigot. Former Colts quarterback Jacoby Brissett has reached agreement on a 1-year deal with the Miami Dolphins. Not the quarterback news we were looking for. But it is very interesting. So, what it does is that means... See? Jeff Howe on here too? Oh, there's some other news down there. We'll get to that in a second. But former Colts quarterback Jacoby Brissett has reached an agreement on a 1-year deal with the Miami Dolphins. That makes sense. He does kind of fit in with their system. He's a bit more of a mobile quarterback, and that can help out a bit if Tua does get injured. Brian Flores has worked with Jacoby Brissett before. They were together in New England before Jacoby Brissett got traded to the Colts for Philip Dorsett. Neither team won that trade. It was straight up, no picks involved. But now he goes to the Miami Dolphins to be a depth for Tua Tagovailoa. So, Josina Anderson on Instagram, or that's her, whatever. I'm told safety Keanu Neal has preliminary interest from the Cowboys, Jets, Lions, Vikings, Colts, and Panthers. So a bunch of teams are interested. Patrick Chung on Twitter. Big news coming. Stay tuned. I'm waiting. This move better happen in the next half hour, because we're probably going to end the stream in the next half hour. So if it doesn't break before that, I will do a video tonight on it. Probably very quick. I have somewhere to be between 7 and 9, so that's the only reason I will be out, or else this would probably go longer. We got 1 extra like on this stream. Thank you very much to whoever did that. I'm telling you, it helps. So, what the likes do is they help, the more likes, it gives more impressions to other people. So, the stream or the video will pop up in more people's feeds with more likes. similar to like how other social medias you like a post, it shows up more. So that's how likes work. It doesn't get you more money. It doesn't. I at being at 45 subs and like 3 viewers consistently, I get no money anyway. But what it does is it helps outreach. And then being a subscriber, you just can have notifications. You know when new videos go up. So will help you out a lot. So if you aren't subscribed, the 5 of you that are still here, be sure to subscribe and like my video, not just my videos, but anybody's video you watch, you like that video, it helps them out a lot getting new followers. So be nice to other people. Still nothing new over in the Schefter Rappaport department. Wonder how much the contract will be for Brissett. I would expect it to be at least a decent value. Would help them out a bunch. So let's see. Pro Sports Outlook has their own. You lost $1,000, my man. $1,000 on betting. Gotta put some more of that money into the right bets. Dolphins signing quarterback Jacoby Brissett on a 1-year deal. Yep, it's Resi. We covered that a few minutes ago. We've been having competition being the first people to break things. Well, people in the comments, if you'll see, will be like news, and then I have to go find it because I'm not on Twitter. But thank you anyways. Thank you for watching. Chicago made a very aggressive pursuit of Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson per sources, and the Bears were told that Seattle is not trading him at this time. The Bears were one of 4 teams Wilson's agent named as a place of interest. Now Chicago has an agreement with Andy Dalton. So this essentially puts an end to Russell Wilson getting traded because it was the Bears, the Cowboys, the Saints, and one other team. I forget who that team was. But, yeah. The fact that the Bears made that much of a push, though, and it's reported, and the Seahawks didn't take it, that's just going to leave a bad taste for Russell Wilson while he's still there. Because if they're not helping him and they won't get rid of him, not too good for them. But, you know, let the Seahawks do them. I'm not a huge fan of the Seahawks. So back to this thing, New England Patriots NFL team outlook. Player key, top tier player, minimum 400 snaps. Bench player that is starting caliber, minimum 300 snaps. Low quality player, starting player. Low quality starting player. I know, they got to get him some protection over there in Seattle. Yo, you good there? Irrevamped news. It's not from Rappaport, or it's not from Schefter. Irrelevant news. Yeah, I gotcha. Bengals are giving standout kicker Brandon Wilson a 2-year extension worth $4.6. Yeah. Only kicker I care about is Nick Folk. Won the Patriots 2 games this year. Even after I was hard on him at like the start of camp, I was like, really? We brought in Nick Folk to compete? But hey, he didn't do half bad. I guess this projection just doesn't load. Excuse that noise. That was my washer. Sorry if you heard that. It was very loud. I hope my team gets James White. You must be a Buccaneers fan then. if you hope your team gets James White. Unless you're like most of us here in Patriots fans. That's who most of us are, and you're just hoping that. But I am hoping that James White comes back to the Patriots. That would be very good for them. I think the Eagles have given longtime tight end Zach Ertz, one of the faces of the franchise, permission to seek a trade. Several teams have been engaged. Doesn't really matter to the Patriots now because they got their tight ends, but you know, it is now happening. Yeah. Zach Ertz is going to go to the Bills. I'm calling that right now. Hope we meet you in the Super Bowl. So, are you a Brady bandwagon Buccaneers fan, or have you always been a Buccaneers fan? Really, you think he goes to the Jets? Jets would be an interesting trade. That's for sure. Always been a Bucs fan. That's good, at least. I'm glad Brady got you guys your first ring and got himself his 7th. Jeez, craziness. But Zach Ertz, I think he goes to the Bills. The Bills have been looking for a veteran tight end, but they necessarily don't have the money to get him. Oh, that's right, 2nd ring, 2000. I always forgot about John Gruden. Didn't John Gruden take Tony Dungy was the head coach there, and then he took over Dungy's team and then won the Super Bowl. Craziness. This man was late on the John Ross news. We broke the John Ross news like an hour ago. Saints terminate the contract of wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders. Wah, wah. Guess they just made it official. They announced his release a while ago. John Gruden was traded to us. That's right. I forgot about that. There have been... So, Bill Belichick was traded to the Patriots. Was Bill Belichick traded to the Patriots? I knew there was a thing where you could trade coaches. And I know John Gruden was traded to the Bucs. That was weird. I never thought that was really a thing. Then I know Belichick stepped down, but I don't remember if he was traded. I know there was a thing, I first saw that you could trade a coach. I thought Belichick was, but I don't remember. Yeah, Zach Ertz seems like he would go to the Bills. That just makes sense. Either the Bills or the Jags. We'll look it up. Yeah, actually, let's see. What What NFL head coaches have been traded? Bill Parcells was traded. That's who it was. He was traded from the New England Patriots to the New York Giants. Or Jets. He was traded to the Jets. The Patriots wound up getting 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round picks for Parcells. Wow. That's cray-cray. Bill Belichick did get traded from the Jets to the Patriots. I was right on that. The Jets got a 1st for Belichick. Wow. So, the Patriots... So, essentially, the Jets got a 2nd, a 3rd, and a 4th round pick for... Yeah. They got a 2nd, a 3rd, and a 4th round pick for getting Bill Parcells, and then the first, it cancels each other out from the Belichick trade. Worst trade in Jets history? I don't know. The Jets have made some questionable decisions in their history. Mike Garafolo still comes down to the Eagles agreeing to trade compensation, but this step means Zach Ertz's agent can massage. He's going to massage the entire deal. Ertz wants it done. Team wants proper comp. Let's see where it goes. Mike Garafolo, ladies and gentlemen. Still nothing. Schefter's been very quiet. Don't know how I like that. Ooh, so this is interesting. So, someone under the Patrick Chung tweet, 6 Super Bowls traded for none. Yeah, that kind of sucks. But Patrick Chung, big news coming. Stay tuned. It's not Watson, guys. They wouldn't have signed Cam if they were trading for Watson. Don't get your hopes up, y'all. It's gonna be something severely disappointing. Trent Brown's #1 fan replying to at Patrick Chung. You better break it before I do. What is this about? Okay, I hate people, because this would be hilarious if it was just like some I'm back. Mwah. I would be so disappointed. We're all getting our hopes up over here. Bro, if Watson came to the Patriots and it was a Patriots-Buccaneers Super Bowl, oh my gosh, that would be amazing. That would be one of the most watched Super Bowls in history. Tom Brady playing the Patriots outside of New England in the Super Bowl after playing them earlier that year. That would be the most watched Super Bowl of all time. You would pull in people who don't care about sports. Listen, if I'm Vegas in the NFL right now, if Watson gets traded to the Pats, I'm rigging that like nothing. If there is rigging going on in the NFL, that's what I would rig for. That's going to bring you in lots of money. But who knows if that goes on? I don't. I'm just a high schooler who thinks the Patriots are about to get Deshaun Watson, according to Patrick Chung, and a Tyrod Taylor signing. Additional note, my understanding is safety Keanu Neal is open to playing linebacker as well. That point has come up in conversations as well. Keanu Neal would be an interesting as a linebacker, as he is on the smaller side, but we're starting to hit the point where teams are starting to go for the smaller linebackers, smaller, faster playmakers. So that would be an interesting move, but I would understand it. You're right, it's Mitch Trubisky, MVP. Who wouldn't want that man? Do you have an MVP? I don't have an MVP. You know who doesn't have an MVP? Tom Brady doesn't have an MVP, nor does Deshaun Watson. Mitch Trubisky, obviously the clearest pick. Cam Newton doesn't have an MVP either. That's true. But Cam Newton did not play good last year anyway. So, we're at the 2 hour and 45 minute mark. Probably going to go for another 15 minutes. There's no news broken in the next 15 minutes like crazy. AFC watching Bill Belichick spending like a madman. Listen, that's the whole league right now. Trubisky is better than Mahomes, in my opinion. You're crazy, man. That's cray-cray. But, hey, Mahomes does not have an MVP. That is a true thing, too. Does not have an MVP either. feel like Trubisky, if given the right chance on a team, would not do terribly. Ben Gosling on Twitter. A Vikings name to keep an eye on, Mackenzie Alexander. Source said the team has an offer on the table for its 2016 second-round pick to return a year after he went to the Bengals in free agency. So they'd bring Mackenzie Alexander back after a year over in Cincinnati. Top quarterbacks EPA per play since 1994. I don't necessarily know what EPA stands for, but I'm guessing it's something good. So Rodgers led with it in 2020. Mahomes had it 18-19. Brady 2017. Matt Ryan 2016. Dalton 15. Neat. If any of you guys know what EPA means, go right ahead. Leave it in the comments. That'd be helpful. It's kind of hard to look up like NFL acronyms. They're not popular or easy to find. Nothing on the Rappaport or Schefter front at the moment. Schefter has been very quiet. Bills are signing former Dolphins punter Matt Haack per NFL. Miami recently added Michael Pilardi. So I guess they're going to get rid of Bjorquez. Bjorquez was a undrafted punter for the Pats. Then he went to Buffalo this past year, so yeah, non-worth news. Guess they don't like Bjorquez. Look at that. Bills reported by Tom Pelissero. That's why I didn't see it, because it was Tom Pelissero. Quarterback market roundup. Ryan Fitzpatrick went to Washington. Jacoby Brissett to Miami. Taylor to Houston. That's right. We only want big news. Deshaun Watson news. Or David Andrews news. Or J.C. Jackson news. Either of those three. I will be happy with either of those three in the next 12 minutes. Andy Dalton to Chicago. Jameis Winston re-signed with New Orleans. And Cam Newton back to New England. So quarterbacks still available in the free agent market. It is not looking pretty. You have Mitch Trubisky, Alex Smith, Joe Flacco, A.J. McCarron, Colt McCoy, Mike Glennon, and C.J. Beathard. So, fun story about A.J. McCarron. The Browns had a trade offer with the Bengals, like mid-season. It was like the trade deadline. The Browns were about to offer a second-round pick and more for A.J. McCarron to the Bengals, but the trade did not go through before the 4 p.m. deadline, as there was like paperwork mess up or something, and the trade did not go through. For once, life was in the Browns' favor, as that would have been very bad. Now that Red Rifle is here, officially headed to Chicago, here's the full situation. His 2021 roster bonus is due on March 20th. If traded before then, the Bears would recoup the already prorated because fully guaranteed at signing cap hit and the annual adjustment after 2021. So what that means is they'd have to move him before March 20th to not lose money off of him, is what I'm thinking that is. Or after. They either have to move him before or after. This year I'm kind of trying to learn how all the money works. Like, I didn't know void years were that big of a thing until this year with watching the Saints and whatnot. I try to follow it because I would like to, GM would be like my top option to be in the future. Start out as a scout, make my way up. Be pretty dope for me, but that's why I want to learn like how all the contract stuff works. no big news yet. All right, I have a feeling that the big news from Patrick Chung isn't that huge of news, as Devin McCourty and Jason McCourty, well, J-Mac is the one who responded to Patrick Chung's tweet saying, "You about to join the NHL?" Question mark, question mark, question mark. That's a big dud. That is not very nice, Jason McCourty. I don't know if Jason McCourty's going to get re-signed. He's a free agent currently. It'd be interesting if he got re-signed or not, because Devin McCourty still has another year on his contract, but it's not known if Jason will come back for another year. Jason McCourty did not play very well last year, so I don't know. Like, business decision, I wouldn't bring Jason McCourty back, but if he was willing to take a cheap deal, I'd do it just to make Devin happy, because I'd prefer for them both to retire as Patriots. It'd be really special. If you're receiving buffering, YouTube has already given me the notice. We were going so long without any buffering issues. But, I don't know. We'll see if that happens. Only about 7 minutes left streaming today. 3 hours straight talking can be a little difficult. But like I said, if something big news does happen, I will do a quick video tonight on it, breaking the news down, whatever it is. So I'll say it now. If it's the Patriots trading for a quarterback, whether Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson or whatever, or a David Andrews signing, or a J.C. Jackson tendering, those three, I will make a video if either of those three happen tonight. GameStop stock went down 5.5%. That's not very good. So much for them going to the moon. No big news coming out on this front. Yeah, I'll do a mock draft another time. A bit of a tease halfway through. That's what I would have done. If a Deshaun Watson trade happens, though, that Mac Jones pick is definitely getting changed, because the Patriots will probably not have a 15th overall pick. But that would be neat. Throw out a fun little question for the 7 people that are still viewing right before we finish here. If you're going to buy a jersey this year, who are you going to buy? So for me, my top option right now is I'm probably, if they trade for Deshaun Watson, I'll get a Deshaun Watson one. If they draft Mac Jones or whoever they draft in the first round, I'll probably want to get a jersey of them. If not, I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. If they gave J.C. Jackson like a long-term contract, maybe him. Jerseys I do have, so I have a custom of my name on it, with the number 23, my favorite number. I'm actually wearing it right now for just for fun. But I have a Brady, Edelman, Gronk, Michelle, Gilmore, and Devin McCourty jerseys. Some of them are smaller kid sizes. Like I've kept all the ones I've gotten over the years. I want to have like a big collection. About 5 minutes left here. Looks like no big news is coming. It's a little disappointing. Titans signed Janoris Jenkins. Of course they do. What? Whoa. None of you guys heard that. why would the Titans sign Janoris Jenkins? At that point, you might as well just keep Malcolm Butler or Adoree Jackson. Hasn't popped up yet. Keep an eye right before we close off here. He must have gotten Janoris Jenkins for cheap. But at that point, why not just bring Malcolm Butler back for cheap? Titans have signed former Giants Saints cornerback Jack Rabbit. Dov Kleiman. It's on Rappaport now. Yeah, it came up in the Reddit page. NFL Update's been very on the point with some of these things. Yeah. Looks like we got no big news. But still broke some very cool things. Talked about the Hunter Henry move at the start. Had a bunch of fun different conversations and discussions on some of the moves made. 7 people currently on. Hate to break it, but we'll most likely be ending in the next few minutes. If no big news is coming here, which it does not look to be that way. I swear, if I log off and the Deshaun Watson trade happens, that would suck. If a big news does happen and I do a video tonight, will probably come around 10 o'clock tonight. So if you get around like 10:30. So if big news does happen, check back in at the channel around 10:30 if you are still awake. But yeah, I'll probably do it for today. Does not look like big news will be happening in the next minute here. So if it does as I'm closing off, then we'll go for another few minutes. But thank you to the 8 people who are here. I think that's the most we hit today. Thank you to those viewers who did tune in. 4 likes. Thank you guys so much. If you are currently on and you're not subscribed already, please be sure to leave a like. Would help out a lot. Please also subscribe if you aren't already. Be sure to tune in to future videos. With this live stream being successful, I think it was a big success. No issues. Definitely will do one for draft night. That will be a lot more fun. Get to have some more discussions, whatnot. Won't have to just sit and refresh pages over and over. But again, thank you for watching. It means a lot. If you haven't already, be sure to check out some past videos. Patriots of the Past episode, the first episode, Drew Bledsoe. Next one is going to be John Hanna, former offensive lineman for the Patriots. And we gained a subscriber, guys. We're at 46, on the path to 50. Been sitting in the low 40s for a while, but we're at 46. Thank you to whoever that subscriber was. I'm guessing you were just watching now. Thank you so much. But I think that is going to do for today. I can't just stop saying thank you. Looks like no Deshaun Watson trade. So Jacoby Brissett got $5 million guaranteed, max value of 7.5. Not bad for a backup deal. Titans released a 25-year-old cornerback to sign a 32-year-old quarterback. Yeah, that's the Titans. Telling you right now, not going to be very good next year. Nothing from Rappaport and nothing from Schefter. So that's going to do it, guys. Thank you again for tuning in. Hope you all enjoyed. If you aren't subscribed, be sure to do so already. Leave a like on this live stream. I am going to upload this to YouTube afterward. So if you didn't get a chance to view or you want to go back and review some moments, you can go right ahead. Again, thank you for watching. Hope to see you all comment and be on future videos. It would mean a lot in trying to grow this channel. Again, thank you. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. And again, if big news happens, be sure to tune in tonight around 10:30. That'll be around the time if it happens. Again, big news is a Deshaun Watson trade, David Andrews signing, or J.C. Jackson news. That'll be big news. So if it does happen, see you around uploading of 10:30 tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you all have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week. And let's go hope the Patriots get back to the Super Bowl next year. Thank you.